Okay, now that is good. I think this is a case where if this doesn't get countered, we actually probably go haste on it. I normally go +1/+1 counter, but in this case, with the field open, I think we're just trying to set up enough damage. So I think haste is the way to go. Even if he has something to flash in, they're going to have to sack it to the decoy. Welcome back to another video, my friend. I'm Blake and you're you, and this is Gruul Aggro in Explorer going on the ranked ladder. So let's take a look at this deck breakdown so you know exactly what's happening. Starting at our 1-drops, we have, of course, the Llanowar Elves, which is just a great little 1-drop taps for mana. We also are running Death Bonnet Sprout, the uncommon version of Pelt Collector, because I didn't have any Pelt Collectors. This guy can come down at 1 and then eventually transform into a 3/3 that can grow. So pretty good, not as good as Pelt Collector, but it gets the job done. We're also running 2 copies of Nessian Hornbeetle. It pairs nicely with one of our 3-drops, so it can grow. We're running 4 copies of Riveteer's Decoy. I think it's a nice little uncommon I'm testing out. Having the Blitz ability makes it better for the late game. Burning Tree Emissary is an absolute beast for this deck. It turns your 2-drop into a double 2-drop as it makes that red and green mana coming in on turn 3. At 3 mana, we have the Gruul Spellbreaker with Riot, which can come in as a 4/4, which is what I was talking about, combos really nicely with that Nessian Hornbeetle. We have 4 Bone Crushers just because they're an awesome 2-for-1. Running 4 Plasma Jockeys, one of my pet common cards. I think it's really, really good. Blitzing it at 3, keeping something from blocking is extremely good in a aggro deck. 1 copy of Collected Company because it's so good to look at the top 6 cards of your library and put 2 creature cards with mana value 3 or less onto the battlefield is amazing. Running 3 Questing Beast at the top end because it's a 4/4 Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste, and it's just an absolute beast of a monster. And then 3 Embercleaves to help us cap off with the massive damage. I'm running 23 lands with just a nice little playset of Shocks and Pathways, and that is the deck. So let's start getting into some gameplay. Alright, taking a look here, we do not have a 1-drop, which is unfortunate, but I think even going turn 2 Beetle into turn 3 Crusher into turn 4 Questing Beast is fast enough, and we will have the option here of course, drawing a better 3-drop than the Bone Crusher, because dropping him on turn 3 is not ideal, because we do lose the Shock, but I think it's still good enough to play out our curve. Getting the 4 power will let this guy attack on turn 3. We're seeing some sort of counters deck here, so that's interesting. I don't feel like I see the Ozolith very much. It's quite a good card for Commander, I know, but not sure what they're going to be doing with it here. Now, because this is a +1/+1 counters deck, I might be changing my tune, and it might be correct to shock this, just because it's going to be so easy for him to get counters on it. Let me see. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters, put them on the Ozolith. So this just saves all your counters. I think then the goal is to try to keep him off as many counters as possible. And we're going to play a little bit of controlliness here. Next turn, blitzing this seems pretty good. If he drops something it can kill. Or just dropping the Questing Beast. We do need to draw that 3rd land, which will get interesting. But even if not, dropping the Bone Crusher, making this a 3/3. Not too bad, not too bad. We'll see. Okay, that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Yorvo is really good with the Ozolith, obviously, because it just comes down with 4 counters on its own. Gonna be pretty tough to deal anything about this. I don't have any artifact removal in this best of 1 format, so not looking too good for us, to be honest. I don't know if I have a way to get around this either. So we're just going to take this damage here and hope that we can maybe somehow out-power them, I guess. Yeah, this is not looking good. Not drawing that 4th land also hurt, but we'll see if we can come back from it. I think we've got enough power on board that if he swings in with Yorvo again, we should kind of be okay. But we'll see what he does. Also not familiar with this card. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter. Choose a kind of counter at random that this does not have on it from among all of these, and he did just get a +1/+1 counter, so that's not bad. Yeah, I think we take the damage and hope somehow we can pump out enough. Okay, so this must be blocked. So if we're close to being able to do this to also make them block, but then I'll be 1 short, so I think the play is to Just attack, see what happens, and hope that Embercleave will get us there. It's gonna be close. We'll see how he blocks. Okay, then I think we got it, because I think we just slapped this right here. Embercleave, incredibly powerful card, and that gets us to 10. Just like that, we're fine. The deck can really slap, so fast-paced. Doesn't even matter that he had 20 power on the board. We just barrel right through him. This deck is sweet, guys, I'm telling you. Alright, so jumping into another game here, I'm feeling pretty good. We have the option of going turn 2 Burning Tree. We also are going to have a turn 1 Llanowar Elf. I think this is quite a nice start to this aggro deck. Yeah, I think next turn, probably, unless I see something really crazy, I'm going to go Emissary into Hornbeetle, and then turn 4 Beast is going to be really fast. Actually, turn 3 Beast, this is going to be a really fast start, guys. You are going to see this deck really pop off. So this is turn 2. We can't swing in yet, but already we've got 5 power on the board. We'll ding him for 1. And then turn 3, we're going to have 4, 7, 9, 10 damage. We'll have 9 damage coming at you turn 3 with nothing on the field for him to block. We will discard the Giant because I need both of these for that plan I was just lining out. But honestly, we don't even care. We're going to have so much damage available to us because this is going to grow because of the Beast. The Hornbeetle is quite a nice pair. Burning Tree Emissary is an amazing uncommon. And this deck just rolls. Turn 3, 10 damage right there on the board. You guys are seeing it right here. 9 damage, sorry. This deck slaps. It's so good. I love playing aggro. You just get in, you get your games in. I mean, I also love control. I just love Magic, I guess. But playing aggro is quite fun when it goes off and you get games like this where they're just already in a terrible, horrible spot and there's nothing they can do. So we'll just go ahead, and I am tempted to leave up the Elf. I guess I don't even need to leave up the Elf. We'll just swing in, and if he flashes out some blocker, great. Opponent's basically a creature or planeswalker. That's fine. We're just gonna sacrifice our questing beast and kill him with the Embercleave. Good game, my friend. Good game. This deck just soars so fast. It just scorches you up the ladder. If you're trying to climb the ladder fast and you enjoy playing Gruul, this is a deck for you. This is a deck to look at. A couple ways you can build it, like I said. Pelt Collector's normally in here. It does take quite a few rares at the top, but honestly, I think if you just get the Embercleaves and the Questing Beast, you can make do with other things. Like, the Bone Crusher Giant is nice, but there's honestly other faster things you can play, which is nice. So, like, I don't think Bone Crusher is absolutely essential. Pelt Collector is not essential. I'm not running the Pelt Collector. I think you should test out playing Plasma Jockey, because Plasma Jockey is just so good at common, I'm telling you. It is an underrated card that I think we're going to see more and more of. Okay, with the opponent going first, I will have this turn 2, which could play this turn 2. I think I'm willing to keep, even though it's a little risky not to have a forest in hand, but just because this is going to also make me some green mana and can be played for red-red, I think I'm going to test it. We're going to test it. So if we can go turn 2 into these two guys, that's 5, and then we can either turn 3 Plasma Jockey if we need to. Okay, and that's great. We find our green source right there. We'll see what he is able to put down here. So, we shall see. Soulscar Mage is really good to get that counter on. That is a bit of a problem. A little bit of a problem there. Coming in at 2-3. I think for the moment the plan is still the same. Decoy will handle this quite well though, because he will be forced to block the decoy unless he gets something else down, which there's a good chance he does. Oh, and he does get this down, so that's unfortunate, because this will be able to trade with the decoy if he needs to. But if he were to attack with both of these, for instance, and then slap down another Soulscar, that would be fine, because our decoy could go in. This is going to be a tough match. Yep, that was nice. This is going to be quite the tough match. At this point, we're just... Okay, I was actually going to say it's probably appropriate to trade those. So at this point, we're actually trying to stabilize, which I think the best way to do that is to put down the Spellbreaker with a counter. Hope he doesn't have two non-creature spells for the Soul Scar. Both of these being a 1-mana spell that he can play is unlikely. So I think there's a chance we'll stabilize here, especially with Questing Beast being able to come in and put pressure on, as well as swing in with the Vigilance and Haste is really quite nice. Now this is risky because we don't know what that is, but I definitely think the correct play is to block the mage and hope he doesn't have some sort of combat trick. Yep, I mean I guess we should have expected that. So he's got 6 damage coming at us next turn. We could Collected Company and just hope to flip 2 small drops, because, or we can drop the Questing Beast. We know he has a giant coming next turn. Questing Beast gives us a guaranteed blocker, so we probably take 4, and also sets up... I think we Questing Beast now and then Collected Company next turn, and try to just get lucky and flip out 2 things and create a nice 2-for-1 trade. But we're going to have to be lucky. I mean, that's also pretty good for him to draw here. Can close out the game for him. I'm assuming he'll drop this and swing in with everything. If he doesn't attack, I think we have an even better chance of actually winning here. Okay, yep. Okay, we do get rid of the mage, so that's pretty good for us. He has 2 damage at any time to us here. So because I think my only chance at winning here is to wait and Collected Company and hope to flip 2 things, because he just swings in with all of these, and no matter which way I block, he's got enough damage, unless I can flip 2 creatures off the Collected Company, which would be great. It's possible. Looking at the top 6, we've got a decent chance. We've got a lot of 1 and 2 drops. So here's our moment to see if we can come back. Alright. Not the best, but we will go ahead and grab 2 elves. And then we just do like this, I think? Or do we trade these? I think it's worse to let him continue to have the Crusher. And we can't allow one of these through, or that just kills us. So I think it's worth to let him have the pressure. We have both of those. But we're in a really bad spot here. This is not a great spot to be. And he's got the lightning bolt next turn. Not looking good for us. I think he's got it. I think he's got us. Go ahead and just see what happens. Make him play it out. I don't, because he's got us in 2 turns for sure. So I doubt we have enough to come back. And I don't think there's any life gain in the deck. He can just lightning bolt us now, and then light up the stage again. And the next turn, he does need to draw 1 more Merlins to get me. So he doesn't have the win yet, and I am the kind of person to always play it out. He will have the runner, and if that has haste, okay, he got us. Good game. Okay, jumping into another game here. I'm always tempted to go Burning Tree into Decoy on turn 2. With our 2 lands, I think we're going to go for it. So let's see what we can do here in another game. Going up against Murdred. Not Murdered, Murdred. Bring it on, Murdred. What you got? These sleeves are quite cool. Arena has some pretty good cosmetics. Overpriced? Sure. But they are pretty neat. Love this turn 2. Burning Tree Emissary is so fun. So fun. Then creates a must kill right here. I'm feeling pretty decent about this. Pretty decent. 3rd land next turn would be really nice. Mostly just want to be able to hit Beast by turn 4 probably. Now that is certainly unfortunate. I'm tempted. Let's attack first and see what happens. And then I think we just get as much power on the board as possible here. 8 coming in next turn is pretty good, and these have to be blocked if they can. We also have the option of stomping something small, which is probably the best thing we could do. Okay, now that is good. I think this is a case where if this doesn't get countered, we actually probably go haste on it. I normally go plus one counter, but in this case, with the field open, I think we're just trying to set up enough damage. So I think haste is the way to go. Even if he has something to flash in, they're going to have to sack it to the decoy. So the deck is smooth. Even on this game where we didn't really hit our land drops, we're probably not even going to play the questing beast. The deck's quite fine. Careful Cultivation is a nice little ramp spell on the discard side. Yep, there you go. That's it. Another one in the books. Sounds good to me, exclamation point. Okay, looking to get another nice game in here for you. Turn 1 Elf is always quite decent. Going up against the Giant Killer, so probably mono white weenies. Haven't seen this deck for a while. Don't need to block that. This can be sacked to give something indestructible. So we're at 3 mana here. They're gonna go really wide. If I drop this, I'll still have 3 mana. I think the play is to go Emissary into the Breaker. And I think I want to put the Breaker at a counter. I think if they're going to have a bunch of small stuff, we're going to want to swing in with a bunch of big stuff. And the speed right now isn't too crucial. Okay, so this can only give this indestructible. I see the arrow. Non-creature spell costs 1 more to cast. That's fine. No problem there. Because this is a first striker, I think we're fine to drop the Jockey. I also really want to find that 3rd land. So I think we're going to go Jockey, swing in the Emissary. It doesn't matter if they kill it at this point, because we really we want that drop to get the extra mana, so it trades off quite nicely. We'll keep the little first striker from blocking us for the moment, because I don't want him to get a free trade against, a free kill against the Emissary. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Get a nice chunk of damage in, hopefully draw a 3rd land here. That's quite nice. The one unfortunate part about the Jockey is that if you do use it for your land, to draw the land drop on your turn, you miss playing it, which is not familiar with this. General Kudro of Ikoria. Other humans get +1/+1. Whenever General Kudro or another human enters the battlefield, exile target card. Okay. That's a problem. So let's get rid of this first. Let's see what I have. Ooh, I was not counting on him costing more. That's unfortunate. But I think necessary. I think we do this and make him at least sack one of these guys. I think I gotta get rid of this thing. That makes the killer not as bad. And now we're sort of trying to rebuild. This is a weird game. He has helped us off well, created some good trades. I think we're ahead on cards overall. Let's start with the Emissary and then do our math from there. So we've got 5 mana left. Dropping this down, it won't grow yet. I'm tempted to... He's got more first strikers. I think we're going to blitz this guy. I'm going to go ahead and get down another elf. And then we can't swing in this too because then he can get a free trade. But I think this is not bad. At 1 health, it is a little sad. But we get to draw a card back. Embercleave might be what we need if we can just draw something big to put it on. Yes, he is going human. Funny that the Werewolf pack leader is also a human. because it's a human werewolf. That's quite funny. Okay, I think this is good for us. We'll put this down, we'll put this down. Probably we'll set up our win next turn, I think is good enough. Yep, and then I think we just chill here. We don't need to attack. Next turn we're going to get a bunch of attacks and an Embercleave down. Ooh, that's not good though. This could be bad. This could do a lot of work. Yeah, that's not great. Ooh, that's really not great. Okay, we really need to shock that. Yeah, I'm rethinking how good we are. This might be an L. This humans deck is just outpacing us just a touch. Just barely out-touching us. First strike is bad. I think we can trade... Okay, let's think about this. He's only got one blocker up. And I have Embercleave. I think we just let his guys go through. I don't need to damage that much. If I happen to get a shot, I would be very lucky. So if I swing in with everyone, I could put the Horn Beetle. We'd have 8 damage with the Horn Beetle in this. That gets us to 10, 13 exactly. I think it's worth it. Or we could even, potentially, depending on what he blocks, if he blocks the... Actually, I think the smarter play is to get our Crusher back. The smarter play, since we're not going to have KO here, this would only get us to 8, 9, 10, 11. I think the smarter play is to save the Emissary, and then we'll deal 3. Oh, did that thing... Okay. I guess he also had first strike? I'm a little confused, but it's okay. Then we'll slap down this. We can attach this to something next turn. Why did I... Oh, he has first strike on the backside. Wow. I probably didn't do that right, but that's okay, because he was going to be a real pain to deal with that first strike. I think putting Embercleave on the decoy is pretty good. It'll swing in for 8 trample. I mean, he can put the first strike right in front of it, which is pretty bad, but I think the play is to put it on the decoy. I think putting this on the decoy and swinging in with everyone is quite good. You know what they say, math is for blockers. Full send, baby. What do you got? Do you have the math? I didn't count. I just am going with my gut. He probably is going to live on 1 or 2, but I think we'll still be in a pretty good position. Because he really has to block... He must block this with 1. Like an actual rule. And then he has to block... I mean, actually he has to block both of these because otherwise we've got enough damage. So he has to do some pretty unfavorable trades. That was smart. That was smart. Not ready for that. Okay, I mean, we're still putting him in uncomfortable positions because putting a 5/5 Nessian Horn Beetle double strike is going to also be quite a problem. Now, the unfortunate part is that he can just tap it down, but even putting the Embercleave on an elf is not the worst. And we could always draw just a shock and finish the game. So, I don't think we have the win settled up yet. The giant killers are going to be annoying, but I do think we've got something pretty decent. So the problem is, if we put this on here, he just taps it. But if we put this over here, I think it puts him in a bit of an uncomfortable situation. So what's he tap now? Does he tap this, or does he tap the Horn Beetle? Yeah, he taps the Horn Beetle. And then we're going to send an elf double strike. Okay, that's good. We'll take that. I will absolutely take that trade, and we get 1 through, putting him in another uncomfortable spot, and then we can even, well, that wasn't super effective, because leaving 1 up would have been better, but we still got him in a pretty awkward spot here. Now we can tap down 2 things, which is sad, but 1 damage away. We've got ways to do that. That's sad. Surely he's going to tap down both of them, which is a little unfortunate. He does have to leave up mana to do that, however. Okay, this was expected. We'll leave a card in hand just to keep him guessing. We don't really need 6 mana for any particular play. We're just hoping to draw something that gets us out of this. Another land. We're going to play the land. We'll keep one card in hand just to keep him guessing. We'll make him tap his mana and do the things. And we're just waiting to squeeze that 1 damage through. We've got ways to do it. And we are just waiting at this point. Okay. He's drawing lands too. Just at a real standstill here. Just pass the turn. He has to tap down on things. I mean, even one creature will start. My dog is barking at somebody now, so sorry about that. Ooh. He's got enough mana to start doing that. That is what's going to win this guy the game. That was really good. That was really quite good. And he's got the Cathar. Man, he just drew meaningful cards before we did. A very good match. Good job, Cunning Whale. This was quite a good match. Don't even know what we could draw at this point. Plastic Jockey's fine. Fine enough. We'll at least keep that from blocking, so that's good. I think we'll put this... Well, he's just going to tap this down. That was not smart. That was not smart. I need him to attack. Shoot. Yep, you got the game, Cunning Whale. Hey, Whiskey. It's the wind. Alright, let's get one more nice game in here. Quite a good start. We can go Elf into Breaker or Elf into Jockey. Probably save the Jockey, I think. Elf into Breaker turn 2 feels really quite good. Apologies for my dog. He's hearing the wind and he's freaking out. Let's see. Okay. Red-black. Not telling us too much information just yet. Whenever I drop this turn 2, I like to put it down as a 4/4. I think that's quite a big problem. A lot of things can hit X3s pretty easily, and they just go ahead and give in. Look at that. Okay, let's get one more actual game here. I always think, especially with the opponent going first, playing a turn 1 Llanowar Elf is probably just good enough, even though nothing specific to go afterwards. I mean, Bone Crusher is nice to just clear the way for something. So I think we'll just go turn 1 Elf and see what he's got for us. playing some kind of Izzet deck. I think in this case it's actually correct just to get my Bone Crusher down and put the pressure on. Even though we lose Stomp there, I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough that 4 power coming down turn 2 just feels really good. And then we can follow that up now with the Questing Beast. I think it's okay to not get rid of this shot.
Bet you've never been hugged by a
Now the question is, well, here's what's really good. The Questing Beast gets to do 4 to both, so this makes it much easier to just immediately KO that Planeswalker, take away their whole turn 3 play and their card draw plan. So we're looking quite nice now. Questing Beast is such a good card. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It is so, so good. Okay, unfortunately I cannot follow it up with another Questing Beast, but I can follow it up with an Embercleave. So that's gonna feel good. We'll go ahead and slap this Embercleave on the Giant, just because it's a little harder to target. Who wants to kill the Giant has to at least take damage. Target the activated ability, that's interesting. I do love this spell. I think creating a copy of a creature you control is just fun, and then you get that counter ability on the top. It's quite a nice play. So I'm feeling really good about this deck. It just slaps so fast, and you see, this is interesting. Okay, so he's creating a weird little deck here. I mean, still with our Embercleave, I think we take the dub. Either way. Oh, he gets to fight, too. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we still just got the dub. Slap this on right there, and that is Gruul Aggro, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you had a good time, and I hope you have a nice day. See you in the next one.